Welcome to the Smarter Leadership Podcast, where we explore the power of leadership, from overcoming challenges to shaping cultures and building a lasting legacy. Through inspiring stories and insights from our guests, we'll share transformative lessons to help you thrive in today's interconnected world. I'm Tucci. Join us for conversations that will inspire thought and action. Eric Goka is a trailblazing entrepreneur and the owner of Twist, one of Ghana's most successful nightclubs, celebrated for setting standards and staying ahead in a competitive market. Known for his relentless work ethic and willingness to persevere, Eric's determination has shaped his career. With a background in IT from ThoughtWorks in the United States, he merges technical expertise with creative leadership, driving innovation and redefining Ghana's nightlife scene. So Eric, starting up and sustaining a nightclub business is no easy feat anywhere in the world. I just want to understand a bit about your journey. What got you into it in the first place? And, where are you today? What's the journey been like?
Well, you're aware that I was in the States. And I was actually just here on holiday. I never planned to move. I think I've said this before, but I went to a club called, I think, Excel. Okay. And
here in Ghana.
Yeah, in Ghana. And at the time, I'd made it in. And the irony is the head bouncer was FM. Who happens to be my head bouncer now.
Okay.
Was the head bouncer there. Okay. And a friend of mine that his younger brother couldn't make it in. I mean, he was old. He was still over 30 or whatever, but couldn't make it into the club.
Because he looked too young?
It wasn't because of that. I think they were just cherry picking,
Okay.
But I'm frowned upon for doing that as well. So hey, whatever, But so anyway, he didn't make it in, and he caused the ruckus outside. So I said, "Whoa, a guy from an affluent family couldn't make it in." So my mom had this place called Twist. Twist was never my concept. It was a little small bar. I mean, if you recall, back in the day, it was a small. So I just went over there and asked my mom's restaurant workers to work extra time. So I sustained it for like 21, 22 months with my savings from the States. So I never made a profit. So that's how it started. So I had basically a table and I got a DJ to just play. And even before that, people just used to bring their iPods and just change their iPods. Like Boy, Theo, and all those guys. So that's what it was. It was never a business venture.
You didn't set out to start clubbing.
No.
But now, how many years has it been?
So what, you want to say 09 till now? At least 16, 17 years.
In 16, 17 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been in Ghana for more than 20 years now. And I could tell you the number of clubs that have shut down, like completely.
Right.
They've come, they've gone, they've come, they've gone. Similar things happen to restaurants. But I think Twist has kept on reinventing itself. I don't like going to clubs. But something has always drawn me to Twist. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But I want to know how you've been able to sustain this year after year. What has gone into this reinvention? What is your thought process? How have you made this thing happen, if I can put it that way?
Well, I'll tell you this. First of all, I'm a terrible business person. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm some business mogul. It was never a business venture, right? So I guess people go to places and things are free. So it's basically like an everyday party. Okay. For the most part. Do you understand? I used to pay people to come. I used to get girls' hair done in a place in Jolu. But anyway, so that went on for about 21 months. My mom ended up selling me debt. Okay. She was like, this is nonsense, man. This is not sustainable. So she actually ended up selling me debt. That's when I actually registered it as a business, as a sole proprietor. Do you know what I mean? Then, of course, that's when I started putting in capital slowly. And it grew organically. I think one of the advantages that I had over a lot of people is that I use this analogy. I started off like a canoe. Okay. Right? You can jump on one dinghy and just push it out in the water, in the river or lake or whatever. You can go fishing. You know what I mean? Then you move over to the little fishing trolley, boom, boom, boom. Then you go to a yacht, cruise ship, that sort of thing. So it was really small, so I could manage it, right? So when I had people coming over, I could cater to my people. Right. And then when it grew, I grew organically. I didn't have a boatload of capital to just build this flamboyant place and just expected to just fill it up on a Friday night.
Yeah.
So I think that helped me sustain. So I was a bit grounded. I remember the first few years, I couldn't even afford security. So I used my BlackBerry at the door.
How?
But when I started,
So like when people come,
when people come,
you.
I just gave one of the workers
Okay.
my BlackBerry to hold. And if you got to the gate and you called the BlackBerry, your name was on the contact list,
Then
and
they'd
you
let
made
them
it
in.
If your name wasn't there, then we took your name, and then I addressed it later. So it was a hatch job, man. It was a
But
hatch.
there was thinking behind it. You know, you said no, you're not a businessman, but to bring people, to have that idea to bring people to start filling up the place, people who look good. That's marketing, and that's a strategy that's going into developing that business. So first of all, you are a business
Look at you
person,
greasing my
and
elbows. I'll go for it.
secondly, this I will never forget this occasion.
What's
I
this?
came
Like it's
once
hot.
to Twist. I was with a whole bunch of my girlfriends, those of us who would come early before the night really kicks in. We
Right.
used to love to go eat some pizzas, have a few drinks, and then leave just as the party's getting hot. But, we were there one night, and something spilt on the floor. I don't remember what it was, but you went and picked up a broom, and you came in front of all of us
Yeah.
at the VIP tables and started to clean it yourself. And everyone around was like, whoa, this guy, he owns all this, he's in charge of all this, and yet he's so humble. He comes, he cleans up himself, he takes notice of every single one of us, he comes to offer us drinks, he does it, and it left, even on me,
Really?
given the relationship that we have, I mean, it really left a wonderful, this impression that has never gone away.
Really?
And this is about, customer service. It's about knowing people. I mean, you tell me about it because you're the one that did it. What is your approach to making people, want to keep coming back?
It's funny, right, that people say that, but it's interesting. So let's say you're a doctor, or you're a nurse, and I go to the hospital. You would expect the doctor to go through the necessary procedures and stuff to see to it that your well-being is taken care of, correct? Okay, good. Now, hospitality is no different in terms of the services that I have to render. So for me, I've never looked at it like that's my job. It's either I try to haul out my worker to try and get it done, or I just get the damn thing done quickly. Now, I've been fortunate I lived in your home growing up in England. You raised me at home. For those who don't know, she's my cousin. And I lived in the States, lived in Nigeria. Lived in Nigeria, so I have an idea of, and when I was in the States and when I was in England, we went out and stuff. And when I was in the States, I lived in Philly, I lived in New York, I lived in Chicago.
Atlanta
Now I go a lot.
Later,
Right,
yeah.
exactly, later. So the point is, I think I have an idea what hospitality requires, right? Like what it takes to give that service, right? So I was never a businessman going into the nightlife to make money. I think it worked out because I'm hospitable. Like I like to cater to people. I like to host people. Funny enough, I'm more of a recluse than people think. And you know this. I stay to myself. But when I'm in the field, when I'm working, I'm working.
And I heard somewhere that, since you started that club, as long as you're in the country, you've not missed one day of work.
I've missed 2 days.
2 days.
I had malaria one
in
day.
16 years.
I had malaria one day, and my father-in-law said I shouldn't go to work.
The other time.
And then the other time, I had blood clots. And again, I was vetoed. Those are sanctions.
That was health reasons.
Yes, that's it. So
but you've always shown up.
It was you're okay.
Yeah.
But again, that's the job. It's easier to get it done and then expect the workers to do it. But if one's not exposed to a certain level of service, it's difficult for you to expect them to deliver every night. And for
be
me,
able to replicate it.
correct. And for me, that's my job. And I tell people all the time, you might look at my success and be like, oh, this guy's done well, blah, blah, blah. But guess what? Your money's in it. His money's in it. I have no excuse. If I'm driving a nice car out there, trust me, it's community service. The community has bought the car for me.
But it's because of what you've also
What I've
meant
offered,
to the
what I've
community.
brought, right?
Yeah.
To the industry.
So again,
so
you said that you didn't set out to do Twist, and
I
in
never
fact,
did.
you kind of almost inherited even the name.
Yes,
Right?
yes, exactly.
You came into it and it was called Twist in its form.
Exactly.
But today, your name and your personal brand has become synonymous with Twist. When people say Twist, they think of Eric or Kwame, Goka, and when they, and vice versa.
So, yeah.
And that is actually something that I think we should talk about more, because it's about consistency.
Right.
Brands are not built, just like that.
Overnight, right.
People say, I want to build a personal brand. I want to, this.
Right.
It's not overnight. It's consistency. And if people know that this is what it means. If I know that I'm coming to Twist with the hopes that I will see Eric. In fact, some people are coming there just because they hope that you'll be there.
So that's a double-edged sword, right?
It is.
So that's so that's also a problem. And I think we should talk about it, because and this I learned later on. There's a sacrifice to pay. So I don't use promoters in the club.
Right.
And then it hit me later on, because I am the promoter. So when I'm not there, my business suffers. So it's a balancing act. And I think who the people who've paid the most is the family.
Right.
But we'll get to it during our discussions.
Maybe we can go a little bit now. Actually, no.
So,
let me make a point actually about the promoter thing, because you're right. It is a double-edged sword.
Right.
Either you're going to pay people to do it, and they'll do a good job, but then it allows you to do other things, and people aren't going to be disappointed when you're not there.
Correct.
But again, I'm looking at this industry and really trying to wrap my fingers around it. At least in Ghana, since I've been here for so long and seen so many shut down and never come back. Either they're bought by someone else, or they turn into other types of industries, buildings. Right. Could that be a big part of the success? So what is the risk now?
What's the caveat?
If you ought to say, I'm going to kind of step down from the day-to-day, showing my face, get promoters, do you think there's a risk of ending up like the other clubs, which
Absolutely.
don't come back? And how willing are you to take that risk at this point in time?
So the talk around town is, Kwame, Eric doesn't like to use people, doesn't like to use promoters. Absolutely, I don't like to use promoters. I don't. And the reason why I don't like to use promote is because you're going to trade something, okay? If I have a brand, right, then I have to ask, what's the value added? Now, if I just build a void, I try to sound intelligent when people ask me, what do I do? I say, I facilitate alcoholic beverages in a massive void with loud music. So it's just a void, right? Loud music, you got lights, boom, 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 right? Now, you're either trying to create the brand and growing slowly to get there, or you want to turn the lights on, and you're going to get Dramani, you're going to get Big L, you're going to get Bebe, you're going to get the usual suspects to puff up your crowd, which is fine. But mind you, all these names that I mentioned, we started together.
Right.
The only difference is, basically we're all promoters together. Bebe was a customer at Twist and is still a client of mine. Dramani, all of them. So I went through the sticks. So if you're gonna say, okay, cool, you're the old dog and you've been here X amount of years and you're promoting, you come to me, I'll listen to you. But I'll say, okay, cool, I'm not that interested in selling the bar.
Right.
That's not the brand I care to be in. That's not my pocket. If it was my pocket, the Bebes wouldn't patronize me as much as they did. And the reason why I say this is because now, if you're a promoter and you approach me, I'll say, sell me tables. Let's talk about margins on tables. If you're going to run a Friday night or you're going to run a Saturday night, okay, cool. How many tables are you going to sell? I've got 22 sections. How many of those are you going to take? I'll use a promoter any day. Right. But if I'm going to use a promoter to just bring fluff into the club, then I'll just put my sword down and say, hey, it's time to change the guard. My era is over. I'm not fresh. I'm old. It's okay. Nothing is forever. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm okay with that if it's come to that.
Right.
But I think that, first of all, the nightlife is nothing like it was before.
How is it now?
It's taken a step back from what we know it.
Okay.
First of all, let me say I'm 45, all right?
Okay.
I'm no spring chicken. Do you understand? It's
The greys are coming.
The greys are here. Salt and pepper. Do you know,
Can you see mine as well?
Fresh dip for you. How we looking? Do you know what I mean?
Good, looking
No,
good.
but you're doing it gracefully, love. You're doing it good. You're doing it good. So I think that COVID expedited a lot in terms of nightlife.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about the speakeasy era, you want to talk about the festival eras, you want to talk about the 80s, discotheque, music always determines nightlife.
Right.
If you talk about nightlife now, you know what people say?
What?
Catching vibes.
And what
It's
does
a
that
vibe.
mean?
Chill.
Chill.
If you think about all I do is win, 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 no matter what, pop the Cavassier. You had, even when you dami do roll, you had music that energized.
Lifts.
These
Yeah.
days, guys are just catching cruise. And my time, man, dudes are looking at shoes, a girl's looking at your shoes. You're looking at, you're like, your threads are right. But a dude could roll up to a club in Crocs today, man. You bag of chicken this era, though. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying to you that 10 years ago, it's not happening, man.
Yeah.
You have guys carrying purses, man. It's a different time, man. I don't know none of this stuff, and it's okay. It's okay. It's over.
It's
for
another
us.
phase.
It's a different phase. It's not our time, and it's okay to sit back and say, mate, it's over because what? Listen,
So,
the worst a guy will come to a freaking what's it called thingy bob a bag, a handbag, a purse, it's a freaking underarm freaking Mont Blanc. He had a little Mont Blanc thing with his money inside, his stash. He had his Gucci shoes, Balmain, Mosquito. Mate, these guys are now wearing Crocs. Easy.
So Eric, understanding that things have changed so much and knowing the type of person you are, always ready to, be where the market is or be ahead of the market. What is the next phase for Twist?
Okay, so our 10 years, more 16 years, I've been away for a bit. And so I closed down the club. And honestly, I didn't know what to do. I was stuck between a rock and a hard place. Freaking, what would you call it? Quagmire? An impasse, so to speak. Like, damned if I do, damned if I don't. Do I raise capital, pump capital in there, renovate? But then I have to say to myself, okay, cool. What would it take me to make that money back? Is it time to change the old guard? And there are a couple of truths that I have to come to.
Right.
I am not as young as I was. I can't stay up 3 days. Before, I could stay up 3 days. I can't stay up 3 days. I was the first in the club, the last to go. My family has paid a severe price where I'm never home. I'm never home. I'm home much, much later. So, okay, take some things into account. The market has changed. You're not as fresh, you're not as current. And I actually do not choose to. Why? I'll give a quick example. I used to spend time, and this example pertains to why I feel that it's time for me to pivot. So this is why I'm giving this example. I've had DJs, and I used to spend hours a night with my DJs, selecting music, blah, 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 because I liked the music.
Yep.
Now, I find myself listening to that music and not today's music.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying? And it's
I
not that
totally
today's
do.
music is not good. It's just not for me. I am not clued. I'm not underground. And it's okay. You have to make room for the fresh ones. My blood is not fresh. It's not pumping like before. So it's difficult for me to believe that I can stay relevant when things are becoming more difficult for me. So if I don't have an ear for that music, for instance, how am I going to stay with my DJ picking? That's just one element of it.
Okay.
Do you understand? So, but that has created a segment for us, which is, then what do? I still want to go out. I still want to be in a place where I listen to freaking Loonies. I still listen to Rick Ross. I still listen to Biggie. I still listen to,
The good ones.
Some names you just don't want to throw it out there because
the good ones.
It's not the best time. But our music, right? So then we have to start creating what isn't there.
Okay.
Because
so you're looking
now,
for a niche in the market.
Niche market. So I would have to downscale, 100%.
Okay.
I always like to downscale and grow from within. I don't like to, I think one of my biggest advantages was I could build and wait. Most people could not build and wait because they've invested so much capital in such a short time that they need to recoup. Another thing is I don't have partners. So I don't have anyone to answer to, right? So I can pivot. So all these things have helped me. I have a remarkable team, right? So
you've been with them for a long time.
Listen, for ages, love. Ages. You're talking about Osei, Free, Rachel, Patience, Whitney. I mean, the list
Why is
goes
that?
on.
Is it because you have so much fun together? Is it the respect, the mutual respect?
I spend my time with them. They are my people now. I'm not going to be in a board meeting tomorrow talking about JVs and stuff like that and capital investments. I'm in Nightlife. These are the people. So we grow together. They've sustained me. They're the reason why I am who I am today. It's yes, I have a role to play. I am lead, but they are massive contribution to this success. All of them. FM. You hear stories of where even Jesus Christ was not liked.
So it's because of your close relationship. Is that
I think that was cultivated over time, right?
Okay.
So
because I hear a lot of stories around, lack of team cohesion and, success. Growth happens when you have strong teams and, you have mutual goals. So I think it would be good to give a little insight into how you cultivate or how you've cultivated this over the years. You said you're always, you're there for each other.
So I failed at building good structures of work.
Okay.
That I have failed at building good structures of work. Shika has helped me a lot.
Okay.
And put your sister and her
your
team
cousin.
have come. Part of it is because I don't know anything about structures. I never did business in school, and I'm very passion driven. So I do what I want to do, how I want to do it, if I believe in it. But my wife also gives me advice. Tamara is very structured. Like my home, you come to my home and go, oh man, listen. My home is winning because of my wife, because of the structures that she puts in place. She's a very structured person. So that helps me. So I know where I'm weak. You know what I mean? However, if I am lead, I believe I'm a decent lead because I bring people together. I listen to them. I'm there for them. I'm not just there for the good times. I'm not just a welfare friend.
Okay.
Do you understand what I'm saying? And I think my relationship with my workers goes beyond a bit more just workers, because the unit's been with me. I mean, I have a guy whose grandfather was my dad's driver. Do you understand? So even if you're talking back office, even that, it's so well ingrained. It's like, and the devil you know, again, is better than the devil you don't know. That's not to say that, again, it's in the nightlife, you have to keep things fresh.
Okay.
So I'm about to relaunch again. Not launch, just turn the taps back on.
Okay.
But I'm hoping to have this as my last hurrah, only because I feel it's time for me to pivot.
Okay. So this, let's say, relaunch or reopening, is it in the same vein as Twist currently is, or is it with the new face? Or is the new face going to be another phase next year or sometime in the future?
Good question. So I was away in Atlanta for quite a while.
Right.
So I closed it down. I was torn because I'm not sure if I'm repeating myself, but I didn't know whether to just shut it down, not open, rebrand the place as a new business, completely new business, and then launch. But I still have a lot. I'm still green. I still have a lot of fine tuning.
You said you want to listen a bit to the market. You want to understand so that you're responding to a real need rather than just.
Sometimes to see the picture, you have to step out of the frame.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So me stepping out of this frame allows me to see the entire vista. Okay. You see what I'm saying? A broader. So to answer your question, I just want to reopen a few touch-ups with the vibes, but I want to do something differently. So it's my last hurrah. So most of the current promoters and stuff were my clients and friends and stuff. So I have parties designed with them this time.
Nice.
So it's not like, oh, he's going out and he never did. No, look.
So we can look forward to some good times this Christmas.
Absolutely. Yes. And I'll tell you something funny, right? You see, all these promoters, I mentioned names like Dramani, Biggie, Big L, even Black Volta, yeah? Even DJs in Ghana. Look, if I tell you the amount of support they give me, you'll be dumbfounded. Look, the other day...
It's goodwill. I mean, things you've talked about, relationship building and...
Listen.
The other day,
last minute we're doing karaoke at Level Up. I have a restaurant upstairs. I needed... Look, I want to say a leeway of like maybe an hour and a half. I called Big L. Now, Big L's picking up someone. He's at the airport or something, doing some stuff. Picking up family or so. He's with the family. Dude, I don't know what he did, but before I got to work, he had arranged a full wireless microphone set, dual set for me.
Nice.
I'm in Atlanta. I need my flyers posted. Black Volta. Boom, bebe. Like Dramani will come give me advice. Like.
So this Christmas, there was good.
So this Christmas, I'm trying to this Twistmas. It's not
this twist.
For us. It's not Christmas, man.
It's just it's twist. It's twist man. All the time.
Twistmas. That's it. Christmas in Ghana.
There are going to be lots of collaborations. And
yes, we're trying to do some collaborations. We'll turn the taps on.
Awesome.
Hopefully the first week of December.
Awesome.
Do you know what I mean? So hopefully around that time
I'll come and sample it.
You'll come and sample it. Yeah, and this time
with my old girlfriends who I used to come with. Yeah.
And I want to make this the last hurrah. And then a new chapter. Okay. You feel me?
And just before we go off this hurrah and talking of new chapters, you've mentioned Atlanta quite a lot. Any plans?
Yes and no.
Okay.
The plans are there. The again, there are a lot of pieces that have to come together before anything. Have I started anything in Atlanta? No. I've done a couple of activations. Yes. And shout out to our boys, our Bloomberg boys. They've opened up a remarkable place in Buckhead, yo.
Okay, nice.
These Bloomberg boys, Adam and
they're
Kofi.
Doing something different as well.
Listen. And
I've been there once and I was just amazed.
Yes.
I mean, so many people. I'd never even heard of the place, and I had visitors from out of town. They said they want to go to Bloomberg. Oh, wonderful. Yeah. So
okay. So they've taken us there.
Awesome.
So we could sit here and throw me all the flowers and everything, but
there are others doing a good job.
Others are doing a remarkable job.
Awesome.
Others are doing a remarkable job,
awesome.
And it's not easy, man. You know what I mean?
So I'm going to take you back because and you just mentioned it's not easy, and a little while ago you were saying what a toll it's taken on the family, and what a price. Just tell us a bit about that.
So my daughter's 12, my son's 7, right? And if my wife wasn't as understanding and patient with me I wouldn't be able to have the time for work. That is impossible. You see what I'm saying? And what that has done is I've denied them myself, because of work. So something has to change, right? So if there's a change in the market, why fight it? No, I won't fight it. It's okay to take a step back sometimes. It's okay. It doesn't mean you're losing. No, it's identifying your strengths and your weaknesses. The ego is mainly the killer of everybody. So just taking a step back, re-pivot, understanding the dynamic, letting the dust settle, boom, 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 and then execute it.
So less ego, more balance, more time for family.
More time for family. So my plan is whatever I venture in will require less of my time. I up until now, I'm at work at least 6 days a week, right? Now I could stay at work. Sometimes I'm home at 1 p.m. Now, why? Because I don't want to have to go home and then have to come out in the daytime and do traffic and then go back home and sleep. So sometimes it's just easier to just stay out of work. Then also in the industry that I'm in, I have to go to other people's businesses to support when I can. It's my business, which is fine, no qualms. But then you have to have the balance. The balance. So if I'm getting older, I'm not as strong as before. You know, I'm sleeping a lot more. The grays, the salt and pepper is here and everything. It's a fine time to pivot. So and, if you and we celebrate that too.
It's good. No, I'm glad you said that you celebrate it. And you know, if you had to take, you know, move back into time, is there something you would change in the way you did things, especially maybe with regard to family? Would you have done something a little bit differently, or what would you advise those who are now entering into the industry?
Okay.
You know.
So when it comes to me, I don't think I'll do anything differently because I think I'm in a space that, had I not done that, I wouldn't be here. So it's unfair. You know, I tell people all the time, you want to look back and you want to complain about stuff, but if you're in a position today that's better than yesterday, then it's that buildup brought you here. Now, for anyone who wants to come into the business, it's hard for me to tell people what to do when I understand I don't know enough about the current market. That's all I'm going to say. I don't know enough about the current market. I don't think I'm willing to put in the effort for the amount of returns in this current market.
So maybe what you don't say is what you have said in a different way, which is that before you go into it, make sure you know what you're going into. 100%. Understand the market, be able to live it. Correct. Because that's when you do it best. Correct. You talked about, you know, yourself. You were living it. You were experiencing it. You know, it was more than work.
Correct. You know, I'm passion driven, right? So if you come to me and say, hey, Kwame, you know, oh, by the way, so I've mentioned Eric and I mentioned Kwame, right?
I mentioned the two earlier as well.
So you see, I'm deliberately trying to force feed people this Kwame narrative. I'm trying to stick it in your mouth, Tucci.
Why?
Because, okay, so...
I don't disagree, I just want to know why.
Why, right? So when I lived in Chicago, first of all, right, I was working in this company called ThoughtWorks. ThoughtWorks, right? It's an IT firm. And there was a guy there called Eric. So they started calling me New Eric.
What is New Eric?
What's New Eric? So that's what they used to call me, New Eric. So I'm like, hey, you can't do that. I'm not New Eric. Do you know what I mean? All right, you know, call me Kwame. Now, they thought Kwame was Q. James Bond. I think the dude that does the gadgets and stuff is called Q.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So, because, you know, I'm feathered with a bit of an English accent or whatever. They say, oh, Q. So that's how it started. So I started using Kwame. But then when I came to Ghana, when I came to Ghana,
you got a million Kwames.
No, the old folks know me as Eric.
Right.
So we have people now, when I tell them Kwame, they say, no, it's Eric. I'm like, don't step on my parade, man. don't step on my parade. Like, stop it, man. Do you understand? And also, hey, you know, Afrobeat is on the rise. I'm Kwame.
And you're claiming it. You're claiming your Africanness.
No, I'm Kwame. I'm no booty scratcher, you know, like before. you understand? Do you know what it's like, right? To go to college, yeah. Look, I remember going to college. Oh, those are the Africans. You know.
And how things have changed.
What? Listen. Look, I know exactly where I was when I heard African Queen. I was in a club in New York years ago, and that alone was a shocker. I went to the DJ, and I'm like, whoa. It's a white dude. I'm like, whoa. For real? Guy's like, yeah. For real? And just African Queen by Tubaba. And now, radio.
Shops
radio,
in the high streets in the UK, in London, everywhere. Yeah. It's a beautiful thing. It's shifting cultures
if that's not
everywhere.
a reference of how we've all come far, there's a lot that's right today. Listen, to be on radio, to hear Afrobeat on the radio, what? Nah.
Yeah, it's a good time. I've been saying for the last few years that it's a good time to be African.
Yes.
Yeah, it really is.
Yes.
It really is.
And it's a good time to be a people. And the reason why it's nice to focus on that is because I'm only African, so I can't speak of anything else. But our arms are forever extended to anyone who's willing to walk into it. And that's a beautiful thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That embrace, that's a beautiful thing. You know what I'm saying? So, man, look, it's a good time all around.
It's a good time to be alive.
Look, it's got its ups, it's got its downs, but it's okay.
Yeah. It's a
you
good,
know, it's okay. You know,
life is good.
Life is all right, man. we go with the punches, man.
So we've talked today, you know, that there's so much. I mean, I know so much about you because we spent many years growing up together, and you know,
you used to tease me a lot, man.
Yeah, and we have, and that's the point I was about to make. I know so much about you, and today I've spent time because I really wanted to understand a bit about your industry and what's going on and what your thinking is. But I'm gonna bring you back another time because I want others to know the other sides of you that we haven't unearthed today. So definitely, I'm going to be bringing you back, Eric.
Maybe you should bring me back. Bring me back my wife.
I'll bring you back together. Yeah. In fact, because you're both in the entertainment industry in a sense.
Yeah, Lionheart.
Lionheart.
She's remarkable at what she does.
And you're both so different. Your personalities are almost opposites.
Yeah, man.
But you know, so clearly there are things you have in common, but then there are things.
She's a feisty one, you know. She's a feisty one. That one,
Eric. The things you have in common are also pretty amazing. So yes, I'll be bringing you back.
Yeah, you're right.
For
we
sure,
do have a lot in common as well. Yeah, okay.
Sure. So I'm gonna pivot right now. So you have a young daughter. You have a young son. What advice would you give them as they're growing, and maybe to other young people as well who are looking to create a niche for themselves or establish themselves in the world? What few words of wisdom might you leave with them?
Well, for the kids, I can't speak on everybody. I can just tell what I'm trying to. For you, you've got to listen to them because they're your ears on the ground. As a parent, your authority has to be final. So if you say to your child, 8 o'clock, put your iPads away, there's no gray area. 8 o'clock, put your iPad away. As a parent, that has to be instilled in your kids. Final. Because that's where it starts, right? So if it's not final at home, even if they go to school and the teacher says something, it's not even final with daddy. So I think as a parent, you know, I was in your home the other day, and Christian was like, "Hey, Rusan, your dad has called you. Don't let him repeat himself." And it really takes a community to like raise a child, you know. And that's one thing, at least with the family, we've been able to do that I love, that we've still been able to maintain somewhat what we had growing up, which is like to think that I'm sitting here on your show and we're talking about this stuff, you know.
Last words, Eric.
Twistmas is coming. It's going to be hectic. So
As always.
As always. And for those out there coming, we have some nice surprises for you this December.
Nice.
Okay, and thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming, Eric, and I look forward to having you and Tamara here very soon.
You're a troublemaker.
Yes. Thank you.